Let's add our base blocks to our library. Hello everyone, this is Ali Reza. Welcome to the Mentor Code Lab. What I want to do is add a layer of abstraction on top of the default block class. Why do I want to do that? Because I'm a lazy guy and every now and then I want to have easier, faster coding time without needing to rely on something like, I don't know, copilots. So what I want to do is put some code that I use repeatedly inside some classes and get done with it. For example, if I want a block that can be activated and deactivated, we know that we will have a Boolean property there, and we have to append that property and set the default state in the constructor, stuff like that. So I will have this abstract activatable block. Now, of course, this extends the block from netminecraft block. And by doing that, we have to implement the constructor. However, before the constructor, I want to have a public static final Boolean property, and we call it activated equals to Boolean property.of, and we give a name activated. Now that we have the property, we should set the property value in the constructor. So we say set default state this dot get default state dot with the activated comma false. So by default the block is not activated. Finally, we have two more things. One is append properties. After calling the super, we say builder dot add activated. The other one is a method that I'm not sure if I want to keep it or not. I want to show the user some way that the block is being activated. So I will say unuse, and instead of returning before that, we say if not world.is client, we want to make the world.set block state at the position with the state.cycle, because we want to cycle between true or false on the activated. So whenever I right click on a block, I will activate the activated constantly. And of course, users have to override this method to get rid of that functionality and implement their own logic for the unused method or their activation actually. And this is why I said I'm not sure if I want to keep this here or not, but I will keep it because if people look into the source code, this will be a guidance on how they can make things activated or deactivated. And as you see, that's it. Nothing fancy, nothing really crazy. It's just a class that has some boilerplates that I will use most of the time. So the next one is abstract facing block. Of course, it extends the facing block from netminecraft. And again, I have to implement the constructor and method. So we have a get codec, and now we need to create the constructor. Now this is interesting. The previous versions of Minecraft facing block didn't have that get codec, but now you see that it's there. So let's see. Okay, what I will do here, I will say that, hey, we have a private final Boolean, and that is face opposite. In the constructor, I will ask for a Boolean, and that is face opposite. And after calling the super, we say this dot face opposite equals to the face opposite that we sent in, and then set default state on the get default state dot with the facing property direction dot north. After that, when I'm appending the properties, I want the builder dot add facing, because interestingly enough, the facing block is not appending the property, as you see. It's just adding the property there. So yeah, I'm not sure why. Then we have the get placement state, and instead of calling the super, we return this dot get default state dot with, we ask for facing, then we say this dot face opposite. If that's the case, if we are going to face opposite, we want the context dot get player look direction dot get opposite. Otherwise, if we shouldn't look into the opposite direction, we want the context dot get player look direction. So that's that. Then we have two other methods. One is the rotate. We return the state dot with facing comma rotation dot rotate state dot get property facing. And the last one is the mirror. All we are doing, we say return state dot rotate mirror on dot get rotation with the state that get facing. Now, interestingly enough, whenever you have this facing property or even horizontal facing property, you will override these two methods. And I'm not sure, honestly, I'm not sure, why did vanilla not implement the append properties or the mirror or the rotate and leave them everything empty? Honestly, codec is something that I'm not sure why we have it there. And all I want to do now is fix that. So we say protected map codec codec of anything that extends the abstract facing block, call it codec, and here we return the codec. We can put the create codec here, functions, block from settings. We will face that. I will not implement that part because it shouldn't happen here. Any class that is extending abstract facing block now needs to create the codec inside their own constructors, but that's it. So the next one is actually almost the same concept, but for horizontal facing block. So I will have a class abstract horizontal facing block that extends horizontal facing block. Implement methods, get codec. Yeah, that's the case for now. Looks like we have to write codecs all the time. So I will copy this, I will paste it there, but this is abstract horizontal facing block. Again, we will have that face opposite, so that's that. We will return the codec and we will ask for the boolean. We will set the boolean and set it to north. It's just the same code as we had in previous class. Now we want to append the properties, so let's copy that part, boom, and get placement state. Now if we look into horizontal facing block, the rotate, it is implementing the state.width facing rotate direction. So the horizontal facing is actually doing it, but I'm not sure why the facing block not implemented. Now, this that face opposite, yeah, that's the whole code, and that's it basically. The last class that I want to implement here is a block that will have a block entity. So block with BE for block with entity. It extends the block, but implements block entity provider. Now, we have a class called block with entity that has some boilerplates, but this guy is now easier to handle without any boilerplates. We want to add those boilerplates ourselves. So again, we will have a codec, so protected map codec of type anything that extends block with BE. We call it codec. We have an override for get codec that returns codec. The constructor is just that. We need to have two things. First, get ticker, and here is the interesting part. We say return itick dot create ticker. All we are sending is the word. And now you see that how this is making things easier. Now, block with BE, block entity. I want to have this itick somewhere in the name. Block with itick BE. Yeah, why not? Because now we know that we are using the itick here. So block with itick BE. For the block entity, if I remove this guy, we will have a problem. However, to get rid of that problem, we call this class as abstract, and that's it. Now, I forgot that these classes are all abstract because the name is already suggesting it. I just forgot. And because I did make them abstract in my notes, maybe that is why I didn't see this get codec. But anyways, now we have the codec, we have the get ticker and get codec. That's it. Of course, it's an override. So boom. It's not override. You serious? It's protected, return codec. Now the codec is create codec block colon new. And it's public static final. So the block now has the codec. Well, wait, isn't it extending block? Then it's overriding that method. What? Why did you do that? Oh, well, whatever. Okay, I don't understand vanilla every now and then. Anyway, this is a get codec and it's protected. Now it says that it's not overriding anything. I'm not sure why. Actually, I shouldn't need this. This should work now. The block is actually providing the codec and it's returning the codec. And I'm doing the same thing basically. And the block entity provider has nothing related to codec. So it's just get the ticker and get game event listener. So it should work now. We shouldn't need to have that codec ourselves anymore. This is interesting. Why did this guy has to have codecs and this guy is not having codecs anymore? Yeah, it has it. Okay. I'm not sure, but I think they made it this way because they want us to make sure that we are regenerating the codec every time based on what we have. So that's that. And what if I say equals to create codec with abstract horizontal colon. Was that? Let's take a look at the block. Block colon new, create codec. What's wrong with you? It says incompatible parameter types in method reference expression. What? Oh, okay. Because our class is abstract, things are not happy there. However, that's okay. That's our classes. Now, in the next episode, we will come face to face with 4 different classes for our block entities. And that would be the end of this library, I think. If you like these videos, please subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and turn on that bell so that when I publish a new video, you will get informed. Have fun, everyone. Bye.